21, Chatham Anglers.
Live from Veterans Field, YD at Chatham this evening, the 25th game of the season for YD and the 5th meeting against the Anglers. The teams are 2-2, and the prior 4 meetings alongside Brad Klein, I'm Will Connerly, and YD coming off a tie where Dominic Keegan came through in the bottom of the 9th to tie up the game. It was a dom bomb, Brad.
It was 2 dom bombs. Don't try to shortchange him. The first time he's ever hit 2 home runs, rather 3 home runs in a 2-game stretch. Unbelievable performance by Dominic Keegan, and so needed to really just change and rejuvenate this once stagnant offense.
You talk about Dominic Keegan and going up against Victor Medeiros, one of the hardest throwers across the Cape. 97-mile-per-hour fastball at the University of Miami, transferring to Oklahoma State, entered the portal after this past season. He was one of the most highly touted arms in the entire country coming out of high school, and a projected first-round pick next year. He gets the nod tonight. We were expecting it to be Chase Hampton, but it's going to be the right-hander.
We were expecting it to be Chase Hampton, and I'm going to be very interested to see how Medeiros fares in the first inning or two, especially the first inning, because the pregame warm-up, the pregame mentality starts when you wake up. And Medeiros didn't expect to be starting when he woke up this morning. Maybe to be pitching middle innings, the last 3, whatever. He's been used in so many different ways for Chatham. His first start since his first appearance now, and Medeiros has to prove his worth.
Leading off for YD,
well, Victor Medeiros, the U-Miami product from Miami, Florida. Chatham has yet to lose a game when he pitches, 3 wins and a tie. This is his first start, though, since June 20th. When the season began, only 4 hits allowed on the year, though, 7 walks and 8 1/3. Has a really good fastball, and it comes in 95+ consistently with a good breakaway slider as the first fastball's fouled back by YD's leadoff hitter, Wyatt Hoffman.
And how about this? Wyatt Hoffman has been such a big part of the lineup and such a big hitter, and the third baseman pinched in.
Hoffman hits this ball well to left field. Back towards the track in center is Caden Trinkle, and in left center field he retires Hoffman. He took the fastball for a ride, but it's Trinkle there to make the play. Trinkle in center field, he made the out. To his left in left field, Garrett Martin. In right field is Matt Hogan. Kenny Lavari at third base, Danny Soretti at short as Tanner Smith fouls back the first pitch. Matt Garcia at second, and David Mendham at first base with Dominic Tamez behind the plate, catching the right-hander Victor Medeiros. And Tanner Smith takes that pitch inside, a ball and a strike. That was 93 miles per hour. On the Veterans Field scoreboard in left center field, crowd has settled in nicely here. The 5th meeting between these two teams so far this season as the Oregon Duck Tanner Smith is at the plate. Team leading 10 RBIs, but he's 0 for his last 11 in road games, and that changes quickly. Hit to center field, and Tanner Smith has a single with 1 out in the top of the first as he took the fastball, drove it to center field, and it took a few hops before it went into the glove of the center fielder, Caden Trinkle, and a runner aboard for YD, and here comes Dominic Keegan. Keegan, 3 home runs on the year, and they've come in the past 2 games. He had 2 home runs yesterday, which accounted for all of YD's runs. 4 for 12 on the year, and 3 of his hits are long balls. Swing and a miss on the first offering from Medeiros. 0-1 the count. Medeiros, 2 earned runs over 1 inning of relief in his last appearance. It was a 6-3 win over Brewster. That came on the 14th. But he did pitch 3 scoreless innings against YD and picked up the saves, had 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. In Chatham's 4-1 win over YD, that was his longest appearance of the year. Did have a 2-3 record with a 5.11 ERA this past season with 8 games started for Miami. And here's the pitch to Dominic Keegan. Hits that ball to shortstop, takes a bounce to Soretti, flips it over to second to Garcia, on to first, but Keegan's able to run it out as Mendham had to come up the line for the throw, and he's aboard, and Tanner Smith off the base pass as Keegan reaches on the 6'4" fielder's choice. And that brings up Cody Huff. Medeiros was a 20-year-old freshman this past year as Cody Huff settles into the box. With 2 outs and Keegan at first, Hoffman flew out to center. Tanner Smith had a single. And then Keegan with the fielder's choice. He's now on first after he hit the ground ball to the shortstop, Danny Soretti, who's making his 3rd start this year at short. And next year, it's going to be appearing for the Tar Heels, going on his 4th year as the starting shortstop for North Carolina. A ball, no strikes here to Cody Huff, who's hitting .400 against Chatham this year. And the 1-0 pitch, Cody Huff gives that one a ride to left center field. And Caden Schrinkel, the center fielder, there to make the play on the run in deep left center field. So Cody Huff gives it a ride, but Caden Schrinkel able to retire, and no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on in the top of the 1st. And to the bottom frame we go next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. No score, bottom of the 1st. Zach Jacobs on the mound for YD. And Matt Garcia, the switch-hitting middle infielder, takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Garcia from Chipola, hitting .200 on the season. He has 9 hits and 45 at-bats as he takes the second offering from Jacobs up and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Jacobs from UC Riverside. And the right-hander kicks and delivers the pitch. Grounded right side, and it goes under the glove of Cody Huff. May have got a piece of leather on it, but got behind him as he tried to backhand it over at first base. And Matt Garcia reaches aboard after it goes beyond the glove of Cody Huff. Huff committing the error over at first base to allow Garcia to reach. That brings up Matt Hogan. Hogan hitting .268 on the season with 1 home run and 3 runs driven in. Jacobs' first pitch to Hogan for a strike. Hogan went 2 for 4 yesterday against Wareham, but they lost 8-1. Chatham 1-3 in their last 4 games. Hitting 143 right now with runners on base as he's got Matt Garcia aboard. Nobody out, bottom of the first. Garcia reached on the air from Cody Huff. He drove a 2-0 pitch hard on the ground, and it was under the first base mitt of Cody Huff. The 1-0. Grounded right side foul. Hogan spent the last 2 summers playing in the Northwoods League. Plays for head coach Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt. Corbin says he's beloved by his teammates, would drop anything to help anyone at any time. And the right fielder hitting second today for Chatham and Coach Holliday. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner aboard in the form of Matt Garcia. That pitch misses upstairs. No call on the close offering from Zach Jacobs by the home plate umpire Mickey Garcia. 2 balls and a strike. Here to Matt Hogan. Zach Jacobs on the rubber, trying to be a force in this YD Red Sox rotation. And speaking of a force, Luis Ramirez, he's been a big force. He was on the mound yesterday. 5 starts for him now, where he's gone 5+ with 3 earned runs or less and 5 or more strikeouts in all 5 of his starts, and opponents are hitting less than 200 against him as well. 2 balls and a strike. Jacobs comes set, takes a check over on the runner at first, but it's Garcia who's back in time. 2 plate appearances for Hogan on the season against YD. And he got a free pass on both of them. 1 walk and 1 hit by pitch, but now making a start against YD. Hitting second as he swung the bat decently as of late for Chatham as that ball is hit foul. And speaking of swinging the bat decently, that hasn't been necessarily the case for Chatham this season. They're in the basement of the league in terms of team batting average, hitting .207, tied for last place in the league with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matt Hogan at the plate. Nobody out. Zach Jacobs getting the signs, working with Dominic Keegan behind the plate. Jacobs takes a deep breath, gets the signals, delivers, it's fouled back. Dominic Keegan behind the plate, projects as a catcher. That's what he was picked as in the later rounds this year. Opted to go back to Vanderbilt, where he's projected to be the primary catcher for the Commodores next year. With Cody Huff at first base, those 2 rotate in and out behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch to Hogan, and it's fouled away once again. Long at bat here as the 7th pitch of the at bat now awaits us. 2 balls and 2 strikes. All-star team announced today. This afternoon in the right side of the infield, they were able to make the team Cody Huff and Wyatt Hoffman, along with other YD Red Sox, as that ball hit well to right field. Forget about it. Matt Hogan, his 2nd home run of the season, a no-doubt shot after a 7-pitch war with Zach Jacobs. He wins it, and it's a 2-0 lead for Chatham in the bottom of the first.
And Pretty Picky Property Select Vacation Rentals. Their office is located on Depot Road, just beyond the center field fence. The Mount Moyne Pretty Picky team, everything you need to hit a Chatham real estate home run. Home run by Matt Hogan. Now
Matt Hogan coming through for Chatham, pulling the ball to left field. He turned on it and took it for a ride. 2nd home run of the season for Hogan. And it was a no-doubt home run to right field. And Hogan has been hitting better as of late, hitting .303 coming into this game over the last 10 games, which is the best mark in YD's lineup. Josh Rivera, he actually leads the team in hitting over the past 10 games with a .310 batting average, but he actually has his first off day today as Caden Trinkle, the center fielder, at the plate takes the first offering from Jacobs after he let up the home run for strike 1 on the off-speed pitch. The 4th home run allowed by Zach Jacobs this season. That is the most on the pitching staff for YD. It came in the form of a 2-run home run after Cody Huff made an error at first base. But letting up home runs on the pitching staff, that's not exclusive to Zach Jacobs. YD has now allowed 29 home runs, which is the most in the league. And Chatham blasting their 20th bomb of the year. Despite being last in the East Division, they're second, neck and neck with Orleans in terms of home runs. And speaking of home runs, 6 of them out of the lineup tonight. Lyle Miller-Green with the day off, along with Joshua Rivera. Lyle Miller-Green leading the league in strikeouts, second in home runs as that ball grounded to Wyatt Hoffman by Trinkle over at second. On to Cody Huff at first, and there's one away here in the bottom of the first. A 2-0 lead for Chatham.
McLennan Community College, number 8, Garrett Martin.
So Garrett Martin to the plate, making his playing in his third game here with the Anglers. It was an all-region selection at McLennan. Played at McLennan with Dominic Temez, who's taking his talents to Vanderbilt. This pitch misses inside. Temez taking his talents rather to Alabama. Matthew Hogan, who hit the home run, he's at Vanderbilt. The swing and a miss, however, in the transfer portal. Along with another former Commodore who's on deck, Maxwell Romero Jr., both of them transferring from Vanderbilt. But Temez going to Alabama. Martin to Oklahoma State as he grounds it to the left side over to Drew Bowser at third. A crossover to first to Cody Huff, not in time, and it's Martin who legs it out. He was an all-region performer at McLennan when he hit .355 with 15 doubles and 19 home runs, but didn't utilize the power on that play. A chopper over to Drew Bowser, but he gets on in time, and there's a runner aboard for Maxwell Romero Jr. with one out. Martin credited with the single, the infield single over to Drew Bowser. With Chatham with 2 hits here in the bottom of the first. We talked about how the Anglers have been struggling to hit over the past 10 games, hitting just above 200 and 207 on the season. But YD, they actually have a worse mark over the past 10 games, hitting under 200 in the 180s over the past 10 games for YD. And they've lost 5 of the last 10. 1 ball and 1 strike with a tie coupled in there. It came yesterday, swing and a miss. Lefties hitting .333 against Zach Jacobs this season. The lefty, Maxwell Romero Jr., the designated hitter at the plate. Jacobs comes set the 1-2, grounded right side. Cody Huff backhands it over to shortstop to Zach Liu. Back over to first. Jacobs is covering, and it's a 3-6-1 inning-ending double play. But not before Matthew Hogan strikes. A 2-run home run, 2 runs on 2 hits. Nobody left, but after one, it's a 2-0 lead for Chatham here from Veterans Field.
Chase Luttrell.
Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Chase Luttrell leading off the top of the second, and YD trailing 2-0. Luttrell coming off an 0-for-4 performance yesterday. First pitch swinging, grounds it right side over to second. Garcia on to first, and there's one away in the top of the second.
For number 2, Drew Bowser.
Drew Bowser coming to the plate. And Bowser has really turned it on. Started the year 0-for-16, but he's 6 for his last 18 ever since over the last 7 games. That's the best mark on YD in that span. As the right-handed hitting third baseman takes the first pitch from Medeiros for strike one. 0-1 the count here with 1 out, nobody aboard. Bowser with the high socks. He's at third base today, the open stance. And the Stanford Cardinal grounds it over to shortstop. Soretti comes up on it, gets rid of it quickly, and there's 2 away after Medeiros induces 2 quick ground balls, and he's working efficiently here in this ball game.
Zach Liu.
Now Zach Liu to the plate. Zach Liu hitting 159 on the season, but came up with a very clutch go-ahead 2 RBI single 2 games ago in the bottom of the 7th against Orleans. And his 14th pitch from Medeiros misses low. 2 balls, no strikes. And to throw 14 pitches and already record 5 outs, he's working efficiently. Medeiros kicks, delivers, and winds it in there for strike one to Zach Liu at 93 miles per hour. Has been recorded up to 97 miles per hour. A lot of the scouts like that fastball slider combination that Medeiros has, and Zach Liu likes it as well. Drives it to left. But on the track, as Garrett Martin had to back up a few steps before he was able to collect it in deep left field. A 1-2-3 inning for Victor Medeiros. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And in the middle of the second, it's a 2-0 lead for Chatham. We're back with you next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
10 for 5, 25.
Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, a 2-0 lead for Chatham. Bottom of the second.
South Carolina, number 6, David Mendham.
And David Mendham coming to the plate, the first baseman for the Anglers, who are 9-13-3. And let's take a look around the kit, brought to you by Curry College. Orleans up 5-1 on Catuit, top of the 8th. Brewster and Falmouth tied 1-1 at Falmouth in the top of the 6th. Wareham taking it to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, up 9-1 in the bottom of the 4th. The Harbor Hawks coming off 2 consecutive wins after they had an 11-game losing streak. And Bourne up 4-1, top of the 3rd against Harwich. The ball chopped foul away from David Mendham, a ball and a strike. Zach Jacobs on the mound. Trying to find a rhythm, David Mendham from South Carolina, hitting 136 on the season. And all of his hits are at home. He's hitting 250 at home, but he's 0 for 10 on the road. Despite Chatham, who's in the basement in the league in terms of hitting, as that ball fouled away to the left side. We mentioned that, or talked about it in the first. Their 207 batting average, not great, but it's even worse at home. Hitting 171 here at Veterans Field. They're hitting 239, though, on the road as a team. Mendham In the summer of 2020, played for the Savannah Bananas of the Coastal Plain League and hit .338 in 22 games. Spent 2 years at the junior college level where he was a second-team All-American in 2019 after hitting .422 with 14 home runs. That ball chopped foul away. With 85 RBIs for Connor State Community College in Warner, Oklahoma. On the season against YD, he's 0 for 5 with a strikeout. And Zach Jacobs eyeing a K here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom of the second, nobody on. And the pitch, Mendham misses high from Jacobs. Count runs full. 6'3", 215, left-handed hitting first baseman David Mendham. Here at the plate against Jacobs, he fouls back the full count pitch. We'll do it again. Zach Jacobs making his 3rd start of the year. Here tonight in his 6th overall appearance. His first start came against Katuitt, and then he had 3 appearances out of the bullpen after his 2-inning affair as he gets the breaking ball, rather fastball on the outside corner. Mendham swinging, 1 away. Zach Jacobs records his first strikeout of the evening, his 12th on the season. Jacobs coming into this game had a 1-1 win-loss record with a 9.31 ERA. His most recent outing came at Brewster, went 4 innings, surrendered 2 earned runs. Whitey was able to win 5-4 in that game as the first pitch is in there for strike 1 to Kenny Lavari. Lavari, a Vineland, New Jersey native, takes strike 2. Plays at Old Dominion University. He's a rising sophomore, a true sophomore. He turned 19 years old this past May and makes quick work of him there. Lavari swings through. Zach Jacobs' fastball on the outside corner, and there's 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Zach Jacobs trying to find a rhythm, and that has been something that hasn't been ultimately very consistent for Jacobs this year. The most batters he's retired in a row this year is 4. Well, he's retired 2 straight here in the bottom of the second, and he got the 3-6-1 inning-ending inducing double play to end the bottom of the first. A 2-0 lead for Chatham. The Matt Hogan home run the difference right now, as Jacobs comes out of the wide, the breaking ball misses low. Here to Danny Soretti from North Carolina. Was in the leadoff spot last night. UNC Tar Heel takes the pitch outside. 2 balls, no strikes. A switch hitting shortstop, making his 10th start, hitting .294 on the season, and that's the best for qualified hitters on Chatham in terms of average for active players, and he gets aboard quickly with a 4-pitch walk.
From McLennan Community College, number 41, Dominic Temez.
Another all-region McLennan Community College performer, hitting 9th in the lineup, Dominic Temez. Garrett Martin had a single in his first bout, then was cut off the base pass by the 3-6-1 double play to end the first from Maxwell Romero. They were both teammates at McLennan Community College. Temez and Martin, who Temez takes the first offering. YD, when other teams score first, it hasn't fared well for them. They're 2-7-4 when the opposing team gets a run on the board before YD does. As Temez fouls the pitch back. Temez hit .372, 17 doubles and 11 home runs at McLennan. Was an all-region performer, taking his talents to Alabama, where he'll play with Owen Diodati, someone who's in the Cape League. He leads the league in home runs after hitting a home run last night here at Chatham. And the 0-2 from Zach Jacobs, swing and a miss, and Zach Jacobs strikes out the side in the bottom of the second. After 2, it's a 2-0 lead for Chatham, and we send it to the 3rd next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
hitter from Virginia.
Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, 2-0 lead for Chatham, top of the third. And Mr. Brad Klein going to tell you about the middle innings.
Oh, thanks, Will. Like you said, 2-0 in favor of Chatham in the top of the third inning. And Cade Hunter, the lefty from Virginia Tech, gets the DH assignment today. He leads off against Victor Medeiros, who elevates the fastball for ball one. Well, Medeiros has worked so efficiently. That's just the fifth ball he's thrown, and coming up on the 18th pitch. And now 2+, and Hunter grounds it sharply over to the right side. Mendham, the first baseman, ranges to his right, and a covering Medeiros steps on the bag on the great flip by Mendham. So Cade Hunter was robbed of an infield single by nifty
The center
handwork
fielder for the
from
University of
Mendham.
Portland, number 7, Riley
And
Knight.
just like that, there's one out. Riley Knight, the center fielder, gets the assignment now. Another lefty from Portland. And the fastball taken inside. Well, Riley Knight, there's one thing he can do, it's hit against Chatham. In fact, 4 of his 6 RBIs on the year have come against the Anglers. 2 balls and no strikes now as Medeiros misses on the fastball high and outside. Hitting .273 against Chatham. But against righties overall, 2 for 27. That's an .074 batting average. He's destined to reach base now. 3 balls and no strikes from Victor Medeiros, who has really shined in an Anglers uniform with the exception of walks. That's been his Achilles heel. And the 3-0 gets over for strike 1. Now Victor Medeiros, including today's hit against Tanner Smith in the first inning, has only allowed 5 hits all year in the CCBL. And Knight draws the 5-pitch walk with 1 out in the top of the third inning.
Top of the order for YD, the second baseman, number 3, Wyatt Hoffman.
Flip the lineup card order over to Wyatt Hoffman, the leadoff man playing second from the University of the Pacific, and he flew out his first time up to center. But like I said, Medeiros, really walks have been the only problem for him. 7 walks and now 8. And only 5 hits allowed in 10 2/3 innings pitched. Runner goes for second. Pitch taken inside. No, it's a strike, and the throw over is not in time. Riley Knight swipes second base, and all of a sudden, it's a runner on second for Wyatt Hoffman, the hottest hitter that YD has to offer. Hitting an even .600 with runners on base this year, and .455 with runners in scoring position. And that runner in scoring position is Riley Knight with plenty of speed. And Hoffman pops it up, foul ground, down the third base line, and the catcher, Tamez, is there to make the catch for out number 2. So Knight is retired in the air for the second time today, and Tanner Smith, who singled to center his first time up, at the dish with 2 outs and a speedy Riley Knight on second base. Now Riley Knight just swiped his second base for YD. One of 4 Red Sox to steal multiple bases. Tanner Smith, the Oregon product, checked his swing at the fastball, didn't go, it's taken just inside for ball 1. So this is the first time that we're seeing Victor Medeiros really start to struggle when it comes to command. A 1 ball, no strikes to Tanner Smith. With 2 outs and a runner on second base, down by 2 are the Red Sox, and Smith pokes it to the left side. Should be an easy play for the third baseman, Lavari. He throws across the diamond in time, side retired. Now YD gets a 1-out walk, and Riley Knight advances to second on his second swipe of the year. He is stranded in scoring position, and in the middle of the third, it's Chatham 2, YD none, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
We appreciate
Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein with you from Veterans Field as Chatham leads YD 2-0 in the bottom of the third inning. Zach Jacobs making his third start of the season. And he's starting to settle down now as the first pitch fastball is fouled off the end of the bat by Matt Garcia, the junior from Chipola College, who's 0 for 3 against the Red Sox this year. He skies it down the left field line, slicing into foul territory as Tanner Smith couldn't catch up to it. But Jacobs struck out the side with just a walk as a blemish in the second inning. And now has 14 strikeouts on the year. Matt Garcia hitting a cool 200 leading off the game for Chatham, reached on an error by the first baseman Cody Huff in the first inning. And the changeup misses just off the plate for ball one. Dominic Keegan tried to frame it, as could not steal a strike on Mikey Garcia, the home plate umpire. Jacobs from the stretch, rather a windup, grounded up the middle. Could be a tough play for Lou. Dives to his left, throws in time, got him. Zach Lou again, nothing is outside of his range. One out in the bottom of the third.
Right fielder from Vanderbilt, number 5, Matt Hogan.
So Garcia is retired, and Matt Hogan, the senior from Vanderbilt, who's still brushing off the pats on his back from the 2-run homer in the first inning, settles into the left-handed batter's box. Grounded foul to the right side, and Cody Huff gives it the chase. He seems to be a little bit more antsy at first base ever since that error he committed in the first inning. But Jacobs has only allowed one base runner since that first inning. And it's popped foul out of play, 0-2. He did pitch a scoreless inning against Chatham in relief at Veterans Field on July 2nd and did strike out 2 anglers. The starts have been a little touch and go, though, for Jacobs with his 9.31 ERA going into this game. And Matt Hogan, the transfer portal senior, who's coming off of a stint with Vandy. Checked his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3, the 4th strikeout of the day for Zach Jacobs. He's coming into his own. 2 outs in the bottom of the third. And Zach Jacobs already has tied his season high 4 strikeouts, matching his total in his last appearance July 13th at Brewster. And a first pitch fastball taken for strike 1 on the inside corner by Caden Trinkle, the junior from Oklahoma State. Hitting from the left side, going into this game, lefties hitting .333 against Jacobs. Chopped over to short, Lou gobbles it up and throws across the diamond in time to get the speedy Trinkle, and Caden Trinkle is retired for the final out of the inning. Zach Jacobs has retired 4 in a row, dating back to the second inning. That ties a season record for the righty from UC Riverside. At the end of 3, it's 2-0 for the Anglers right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce. Keegan.
Top of the 4th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, and Victor Medeiros, the righty, transferring from Miami. He is still on the mound, and he's still pitching really well for Chatham. It should be noted that he's approaching some uncharted territory now. His longest appearance is 3 innings out of the pen against YD this season. And a first pitch fastball taken down the middle from the big bad Dominic Keegan for strike 1. And the righty from Vanderbilt cracks it into right field. It drops for a base hit. Leadoff single for Dominic Keegan in the top of the 4th inning.
Number 26, Cody Huff.
The 5th hit in his young YD career, and Keegan started his CCBL career 0 for 15, dating back to his 0 for 11 short stint with Orleans in 2019. But is now 5 for 14 on the year. Cody Huff flew out to center his last time up, and the righty from Stanford watches the fastball bounce low in the dirt, gobbled up by Dominic Temez, the catcher, as he glances back at first base, and Dominic Keegan, not with much speed, staying put on the pillow. Cody Huff is 4 for 11 against Chatham this year, and Medeiros from the stretch deals. Breaking ball slices the zone. Count even at 1-1 now. Now this is Medeiros' first start since June 20th. And that was his first appearance. And YD starting to hit him around a little bit. Already 2 hits tonight. Big swing and a miss by Cody Huff, 1-2. No outs, runner on first base. And Chatham up 2-0 in the top of the 4th inning. Only allowed 4 hits going into this game. Now it's 6. Infield at double play depth on Cody Huff, who was just named an All-Star earlier today, and the fastball misses low for ball 2. One of 5 All-Stars that YD was awarded. C.J. Culpepper, Reed McLaughlin, Luis Ramirez representing the arms for the Red Sox. Wyatt Hoffman and Cody Huff also named All-Stars. Grounded over to first, could be 2. Swallowed up by Mendham, and he can't get it over to second on the transfer. Instead, he settles for the force at first. Victor Medeiros covering from the mound in desperation mode. And David Mendham just could not get the ball out of his sticky mitt. On to second goes Dominic Keegan. So not an error for Chatham, but it does put a runner on second base that otherwise wouldn't have gotten there. In fact, it's probably supposed to be 2 outs, no one on for Chase Luttrell. Instead, he's hitting with a runner in scoring position. The lefty from Long Beach State, as Medeiros kicks and deals. Fastball misses way outside for ball 1 to Luttrell. And Medeiros is stretching out a little bit. Tom Holliday, the manager for Chatham, typically only goes with a 3-3-3 system, that triumvirate pitcher system, and give the starter 3 innings. That's why his season high going into this game was 3 even against YD. Now in 3 1/3 and in some hot water as the fastball misses outside to the lefty Chase Luttrell. Luttrell was 0 for yesterday. He had been the hottest hitter on YD, and he smacks it to deep right field. Matt Hogan chasing back. He can't get there. It one-hops the wall. Dominic Keegan coming around to score. It's a stand-up, 1-out RBI double for Chase Luttrell, and YD cuts the deficit in half.
Third baseman, number 2, Drew Bowser.
Chase Luttrell continues to hit and hit in big spots, and the doubles have been coming in bulk for the outfielder. So have the RBIs. His 3rd double of the season. And his 10th RBI. And that ties the team lead with Tanner Smith. 1 ball, no strikes to Drew Bowser, the righty from Stanford. As Chase Luttrell dances off of second base, Victor Medeiros working from the stretch still. with some action in the Chatham bullpen. Big swing and a miss by Bowser. Count even at 1-1. Now Drew Bowser has come into his own, hitting .333 over the last 7 games going into this one. 6 for his last 19 now. Medeiros deals, slide step delivery. Bowser chased, the ball in the dirt gets away from Tamez, trickles to the Chatham dugout on the left side, and Chase Luttrell trots safely over to third. So sloppy play in the infield for Chatham. First it was the mental error by David Mendham, if you want to call it that, advancing Dominic Keegan from first to second on what could have been a double play off the bat of Chase Luttrell, or rather Cody Huff, and then Dominic Tamez unable to keep the ball in front of him. It goes to the backstop, and Luttrell advances to third, and now Drew Bowser is one pop-up, one fly-out away from tying this ball game. As Chatham has a mound visit with Medeiros, Dennis Cook, the pitching coach, talking to Medeiros. This inning likely belongs to him, though, with some exceptions. The work in the bullpen didn't start until pretty recent. And Drew Bowser in a 1-2 hole, though. You'd have to wonder what the strategy is here against Bowser when you're already in a 2-strike count. Zach Liu on deck, and he's hit Chatham very well. Was 3 for 5 his last time at Veterans Field. And Bowser pops it up to the infield on the left side. Danny Soretti is under it to make the catch for out number 2. So Bowser is retired. Chase Luttrell stays put at third base after his RBI double and advanced on the passed ball. And Zach Liu, on July 6th, came into his own at Veterans Field. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. He had been 0 for 16, or rather 14. And then he got to Veterans Field, made himself comfortable, and got 3 hits in 5 at-bats. Since then, his batting average is more than 100 points better. Count even at 1-1 as the fastball misses just outside. Liu from Cal State Fullerton in a big spot here, down by 1. In the top of the 4th inning, Chase Luttrell on third base, 2 outs. Count even at 1-1. Medeiros deals, and Liu chases the breaking ball in the dirt that this time Tamez keeps in front of him. Victor Medeiros was used to going some pretty heavy length at Miami this past year. 5 2/3 was his longest appearance for the Canes. And the 1-2 to Liu. Breaking ball is just inside the front door curve that Liu lays off. Medeiros started the season in the starting rotation. That didn't last long. Ended up being moved to the pen after going with a 6.08 ERA and a 1-3 record in his first 8 starts over the first 2 months of the season. And Liu fouls it off his right ankle, stays alive at 2-2 with 2 outs. Now, since then, Medeiros was moved to the pen and now in the transfer portal. Working from the windup with Luttrell on third. The 2-2. Grounded over to the left side and fell. A third baseman, Kenny Lavari, was on for a look, but it was straddling Scott Pickler, the third baseman. If Liu can keep the line moving, Cade Hunter would be next, with the Red Sox down by 1. Medeiros had a 5.11 ERA this past year. The 2-2 is missed upstairs. Liu checked his swing, didn't go, according to the first base umpire, Rich Gattani, excuse me. So the count is full with 2 outs. Medeiros working quickly. The payoff